The other thing I want to talk about too for a change for this upcoming season is the NHL has approved that teams will be allowed to have sponsors on top of their helmets. So this is obviously due to the NHL wanting, and the team specifically, to make more money this season. Obviously, with coronavirus completely eliminating last season, well, not eliminating last season, but eliminating fans in the arenas, and they want to have fans in the playoffs, which is a huge money-making time, obviously, for any league, for that matter, that's in a championship or in the playoffs. So teams have lost a lot of money, and they're going to want to do almost anything they can to try and help reduce that burden that they've taken on from losing so much money. So ads on the helmet, personally, I am not a big fan of ads on jerseys or helmets. We've seen some other leagues do. I like to keep it clean. That's my favorite thing, but I understand why they're doing it. And I don't think ads on the helmets will be that big of a deal. They're very small and it'll be hard to see, especially if you're watching on TV. So this isn't a big deal for me. I'll put some pictures on screen. Someone made some of what this could look like on the Florida Panthers, for example. They actually have 2 sponsorships lined up currently. I don't know of any that the Lightning currently have. I don't think they've announced anything. But, Michael, your thoughts on ads on the helmet this year?
I don't really mind it. I think it's fine. There's not that much in terms of, visuals. If you see it, great. If you don't, doesn't really matter. I think it's really imperative for the league to do it because of the financial constraints that they've gone through over this past year. So overall, I get it. I'm not in favor of putting so many ads on the helmets and jerseys that they look like I believe it's the Sweden jerseys. Like I would temper those expectations of, like, we don't want the entire jersey to be covered in ads so that we can make money. But it's very small, it's very minute, doesn't really matter to me. And I
Right.
don't think it should matter to a lot of people.
All right, and that's why I'm not making a huge deal out of it. If we weren't in the middle of a pandemic and Lightning had obviously not lost a lot of money, then it might bother me a little bit more. But again, at the end of the day, as you said, it's very small. Again, I'll put those pictures up on screen. It's not going to be a huge deal. You probably won't even notice it if you didn't know that teams were doing it. But
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think this is a temporary thing or this is going to be permanent? Because, as you mentioned, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Eventually the pandemic's going to be over. So they're going to have to, are they going to keep the ads? Are they going to get rid of them and put them on other things? I think that's a really fascinating thing to look at for the next, season.
yeah, that's a really good question. I think a lot of that might depend on fan perception and how this is taken by fans. If a lot of fans don't like this and make a big deal about it, the NHL might consider saying, all right, we'll just do it temporarily. But if fans don't notice it, don't really say anything, which I think is what's going to happen, they might leave them on there. Now, they might limit it to maybe just one ad, and you can, it's got to be super small on the back of the helmet. They could change a lot of things. So I think overall, I think ads will probably stay a lot longer on the helmet in the NHL. But I think there could be a lot of changes. And again, a lot of that depends on how fans react to this. And also keep in mind too, the NHL could say, all right, we're going to leave this on there even after this pandemic. And then NHL fans could get very upset about that and be like, no, we gave you the pass during the pandemic, but we don't like this when we know this is basically just a money grab at this point. And then they might have to change it further down the road. So I don't think this is something that's going to be permanent. For how long it's going to last, maybe a couple of years. I don't know exactly, though.